to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he. Chapter 7. Do not judge, lest you be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. And why a splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own eye? Chapter 6. Beware of doing your kind deeds before men, in order to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in the heavens. Thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do, in the congregations and in the streets to be praised by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your kind deed shall be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray, standing in the congregations and on the corners of the streets to be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you pray, go into your room, and having shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the Gentiles, for they think they shall be heard for their many words. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. This, then, is the way you should pray. Our Father, who is in the heavens, let your name be set apart. Let your reign come. Let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one. Because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father shall also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither shall your Father forgive your trespasses. And when you fast, do not be sad-faced like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, so that they appear to be fasting to men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one is able to serve two masters, for he shall either hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cleave to the one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and Mammon. Because of this, I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, or about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than the food, and the body more than the clothing? Look at the birds of the heaven, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into storehouses, yet your heavenly Father does feed them. Are you not worth more than they? And which of you, by worrying, is able to add 1 cubit to his lifespan? So why do you worry about clothing? Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And I say to you that even Shalomo, in all his esteem, was not dressed like one of these. But if Elohim so clothes the grass of the field, which exists today, and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more you, O you of little belief? Do not worry then, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For all these Gentiles seek for, and your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. But seek first the reign of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these matters shall be added to you. Do not then worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow shall have its own worries. Each day has enough evil of itself. Chapter 7. Do not judge, lest you be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own eye? Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. Do not give what is set apart to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it shall be opened. Or is there a man among you who, if his son asks for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall he give him a snake? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father, who is in the heavens, give what is good to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the Torah and the prophets. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it. But beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. By their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain came, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them shall be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and they beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And it came to be, when Yahushua had ended these words, that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one possessing authority, and not as the scribes. Chapter 8. And when he came down from the mountain, large crowds followed him. And see, a leper came and bowed before him, saying, Master, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And stretching out his hand, Yahushua touched him, saying, I desire it. Be cleansed. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahushua said to him, See, mention it to no one, but go your way and show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moshe commanded as a witness to them. And when Yahushua had entered Capharnaum, a captain came to him, appealing to him, saying, Master, my servant is lying in the house, paralyzed, grievously tortured. And Yahushua said to him, I shall come and heal him. And the captain answering said, Master, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only say a word, and my servant shall be healed. For I too am a man under authority, having soldiers under me.
All right, shalom, 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 shalom. Welcome to another
Shalom.
Welcome to another True Disciples of Christ Bible study. And tonight we have a very important message. Thumbs up as you come in the room, please. From my perspective, as many people as possible should be on this call because we're dealing with an issue here that seems to be chronic, not just in the so-called Black community or Israelite community, but throughout the United States. This is an ongoing problem with reasons that Child Protective Services, CPS, some states they refer to it as, I believe, DFS. So we're going to go over reasons that Child Protective Services may take your sons and daughters. I want to start off by saying all of this is rooted in the Word. Everything I say is rooted in the Word, and all of this is coming from the Spirit of Yahweh Yahushai, Yahuwah, Yahusha. Ali, you was actually sent the link to speak also, just in case you didn't know, man. I sent that link to the email. So, the brother Kim, folks, someone need to call that brother. I sent that out. Someone actually need to give that brother a call. I don't know, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff here. I just got off the phone with the sister, me and David, because I called several of you so-called Tazadaq members, but no one was available. Praise the Most High, David picked up because I didn't want to be on the phone by myself, which I wouldn't have done. Shout out to the brother Yusef in Baltimore. So if you have a family member that's going through this situation, CPS is actually taking their sons and daughters. If you have a friend that's going through this situation, you need to get them on this call now. Don't say I'll watch it later. See, too many of you have this thing, I'll watch it later. Sometimes the video is not even up later. And that's just the problem, man. You always think that you have tomorrow. And this is why many of you fell. You keep putting things off. You got to do it now. I don't even see the sister on the call, Aya. And the call is primarily, reflecting upon her situation. I mean, it's amazing. But then again, I'm not astonished, man. Like I say, the Negro's a strange creature. I was, Ali, I was on the phone trying to give this sister my, energy for free. And I told her, sister, do you comprehend that? I've been talking to you for about 40 minutes. Most people, that's going to cost them $190 or so. I'm trying to I'm trying to do a good deed here through the Spirit. Yeah, she insisted on, this negative thinking. Did I say it, David, or did I not?
He did.
Yeah, I just kept telling her, you're coming from a negative place. And she kept saying, no, the typical woman, female energy. Listen, folks, I don't have time for you to waste my time. My time is already exhausted. I'm exhausted from, doing all of these different things. And so if you come to me for help, don't tell me how to help you. Did I not tell her, David, obviously your way has not been working. This has actually been going on for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But she wouldn't insist on doing it her way, man. I don't have time to waste like that. What I know is my way is work for me every time, and everyone else is literally listen to it and not put their 2 cents in. I don't need you to mention her, Yapa. Why don't you get yourself together? That's the thing, man. You women need to get in order, man. Why are you going to act like you're so right when you're not right? I don't need you to message her. She knows she know that did we not tell her, David, we was about to start this?
He did.
She know that she's supposed to be here. She's doing this her own way. Just leave her the hell alone and let her do it. And she fell. She can't blame anyone but herself. But I know I'm not into the business of assisting someone that really don't need my help, or they're acting as if they don't need my help. You believe that you're going to be all right? Okay, so I'll let you go and be all right. I have a million more things that I could actually apply my time to someone that rather, truly appreciates it. That's the thing about these people, man. You're always trying to fix someone else. Fix yourself. It's the inner me that's your enemy. I'm going to say that again because that went over some of your heads. It's the inner INNER me that's your enemy. That is your greatest enemy. That was hers. And so I'm comprehending why she's in the situation that she's in. Did I not tell her, David, listen, sis, and I know she probably didn't like it, but I'm going to be me. I could only be me. If you come out of pocket, I'm going to cut you because you're wasting my time. Did I not tell her, David, when she stepped on you after she had actually already interrupted me a few times, sis, you're coming out of pocket. We're trying to help you out here, but you keep talking over us.
He did.
I feel like you're wasting my time and your time. That's who I am, man. I don't have time for nonsense and foolishness, man. See, a lot of you, this right here, this is nothing but a ritual to many of you and a game. But this is real life for me right here.
And for me.
This is my reason for being born into the world. My purpose of being here was to touch the lives of as many people as possible that want to experience the Ruach and make your life better. But I can't make you accept that. But one thing's for certain and two things for sure, your way has not been working. You can continue that your way, you're going to get the same results. Now, you can like it, understand it, believe it or not. But the truth is truth. I'm not into the business of trying to convince people of anything. Or trying to, what does that sound like? Me trying to make me help you.
Khan, that's not you. That's also not the Savior. Whoever didn't want to listen, he went on his way, and then he instructed the disciples to do the same.
Trying to help someone and keep interrupting you, and I don't have time for that madness, man. I'm about to send it to your phone, good brother Ali. And I'm calling the T-Dot members. Ain't nobody picking up. Nobody's available, man. I'm always available, man. People call me anytime, man. If I think it's essential, I pick up.
Khan.
I'm always available.
It looked like Aya is on.
Yeah, she just got here. Now, can you imagine David? I'm going to show you how these idiots, I'm going to call them what they are, these idiots are not moving in the spirit of Christ. Is not Christ always available? Can you imagine you going to pray to him and so I need you, dear Hamashiach? And he said, well, I'm not available right now. I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? Oh, yeah, I'm busy, brother. I do it tomorrow. You getting on you falling on your face and pray, and Hamashiach's telling you, well, I don't want to listen to your prayer right now. Contact me next week. He's always on the main line. You better tell him what you want.
Call him up.
And then you better move in faith. Like you believe it's going to happen. So tonight, the spirit is moving me to go over many of the reasons why CPS, Child Protective Services, may take your children. That's what you call them, right? Children. I call them sons and daughters, what they are. I'm going to tell all of you, and thumbs up as you come in the room. I shouldn't have to keep saying this. As you come in the room, give a thumbs up. A man and a womb man does not have children. They have a son or they have a daughter. That is your biological property that came from your loins. And the maximum law states that no one has more of a right to your property than you. That's the first place we're going to start at. And since everything I say is rooted in the word, We're going to start off with the word. Now, having your son and your daughter taken away from you is every mother and father's worst nightmare. That's if you have a heart. Some of you are so damn low, you don't care. Like the sister is saying, the brother, the father, he's not even involved in this. What kind of man must you be if you know your son or your daughter is in a foster home and you're not making any effort? You're not willing to put your life on the line for your seeds. I'm going to tell you, man, any of you men on this line right now, man, if you're not willing to put your life on the line for your seeds, then die then. You're not worthy to have them. You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be willing to lay down your life for your seed so your lineage could continue on. Now, there are several reasons that Child Protective Services, aka CPS, can legally, not lawfully, but legally remove your son or your daughter during an investigation. The sisters say they came to her place and they kicked the door in. They kicked the door in. Do you know how many times this has happened? So you guys can't continue to remain silent about these things. When are you going to speak up? When you're next? Tonight, should I say, and thumbs up as you come in the room, we're going to review several reasons why CPS caseworkers may take your sons and daughters from mothers and fathers. Let me rephrase that. They don't take them from mothers and fathers. They take children from parents. Now, if you're under an investigation by Child Protective Services, don't wait to reach out. Don't wait until it's already done. Because now you're fighting in a dishonorable situation. And that makes it much more difficult. Don't wait to learn how to protect your rights and to prevent the agency from taking your children from the home. Because if they take them, they're deemed to be children. So we're going to start off with the book of Matthew, 18, verse 6. And I want to say this to all of you mothers. I'm going to tell you something, man. If you want to make me your enemy, mistreat one of my sons. Mistreat one of my seeds. I will hate you. I don't give a damn if you're the mother. Because these little ones cannot protect themselves. If you want to make me hate you, neglect one of my seeds. There's no love in my heart for anyone that does that because there's something wrong with you. And you don't deserve to have sons and daughters. You mistreat your own seed. It makes me not like you. And that's the spirit of Hamashiach. See, you don't think you don't know Christ. You know white Jesus from church. But you don't know the power of the Bible. You don't know Hamashiach. You mistreat one of these little ones, it's like tying a damn millstone around your neck. There is no heaven for you. There is no Shemayim. Let's get that. Let someone get that for me, man. The book of Matthew 18, verse 6.
Book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it would be better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were thrown into the depth of the sea.
Did you hear that, David?
Gone.
See, this goes for CPS workers also. This goes for the de facto also. If you would rip, do you know what it does when you rip a young baby, a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 10-year-old from the clutches of their mother and put them in a foster home around strangers that don't give a damn about them, that just want to check? I'm going to tell you something. Most foster children are abused, sexually and otherwise. That's a known fact. Most foster children end up as a delinquent. That is also a known fact. If you ever been in a foster home and you haven't had some form of counseling, you're still injured. And you don't deserve to be in a relationship because you're bringing that toxicity into your adult relationships. Because you was injured as a little one. That's why Hamashiach says it would be better to have a millstone around your neck and thrown into the sea. They say drowning is one of the most powerful deaths there is. From there, let's get the book of Luke 17, verse 2. Luke 17 and 2.
God, this is the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 2. It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones.
So the Most High is warning you, man. Abusing your sons and daughters and neglecting them. Being too hard on them. Letting the baby cry. Your damn basket case. You injured. See, I'm going to tell you something about a sick person, General Yashabin. Most people that are sick don't know that they're sick. If you sit there and you follow an Esau system, you allow a baby to cry. The baby's crying because it wants to be consoled or it wants something. When a toddler's acting out, he's missing something, man. Because when a baby is content, when a toddler is content, he's usually happy. But you could only give someone what you have. If you don't have it in you to give, you can't give it to him. You don't understand it. You're like, what do I do? I tell you what to do. You keep your damn legs closed because you're not worthy to have a son or a daughter because you're damaged products. I'm talking to someone right now. Matter of fact, I'm talking to a lot of people right now. You can't admit it, but it's cutting your spirit. It says in the book of Hebrews, the word cuts all the way to the bone marrow. From there, let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 12. Baby crying, you're allowing the baby to cry. See, that's what Esau has told you, man. Esau's taught you that. Let him cry, he'll be all right. That's not good for the brain development. And it causes personality disorders. The baby's crying, you console that baby. But you don't know how to do it because it's not in you. So a lot of these younger women, Daryl, in this generation, they don't know how to raise our sons and daughters. So when they grow up, they have the same personality disorders that the parent has, the mom had. Mom was raised by her mom. Her mom told you, girl, don't you just settle down with one man. She was busy in the street. She throwing her sons and daughters in the daycare. She busy doing something. Now most of these damn women, General Yashabim, they got their damn face on a phone and the baby sitting right there crying. They texting online. They on social media. The baby screaming, crying. You're giving a baby half attention. That baby needs your underdivided attention. A woman can't do a damn thing for me, man. She can't rear my sons, or daughters, and keep house. What the hell I need a woman for, man? I don't need you for anything financially. What the hell are you bringing me? If you can't bring me nothing, you get the hell away from me, man. I don't know about you other guys, but that's where I am in life, man. The way I see it, I'm better off by myself, man. I'm more productive by myself.
Con, there's something seriously wrong. I was talking to someone about that today. If the person that you're with, it wasn't today, it was yesterday, Salak, but they said the same exact thing. I'm more productive and I get more done whenever I'm not with her. I was just like, well, I'm gonna tell you, brother, if that's the way it really is for you, then you might want to reevaluate, that relationship. I was like, she ain't helping you in any kind of way, and she just, bringing baggage, and you spending a lot of time trying to talk to a developer, and you're not productive. That's not the way it was meant to be. That's not how the
It's
scriptures
time
are
wasted,
written.
man. It's time wasted. All of you men and the sons of my voice, man, you need to take on this mindset. You sit down and you ask that woman, what can you give me that you haven't already given another man? From the words of Murray Ali.
Con.
See how she answered that. Am I lying, Ali?
Can you hear me, Salaki?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Con, we
Yes,
got you. Loud and
I
clear.
tell you, that's one thing a lot of brothers have to really ask a lot of these women that they're dealing with. What is it that you can offer me that you haven't already offered another man? See, when you start to embrace that type of mindset when you're dealing with women, a lot of you will come to find out, lady, you have nothing to offer me. So then what's the encounterings for? Give them to Hamashiach or waste time with them, brothers. And a lot of the sisters where that hit home at, if you can't answer that, then sisters, look ahead to find the Most High. Stay tuned, because a lot of the attitude that a lot of women have who can't offer a man something she's already offered another man, those are the same ones around here with the color hair, the fingernails, the DM count, and all this other ridiculousness. I think you ladies need to, as Michael Jackson said, stop and look at the man in the mirror, the lady in the mirror, because a lot of them have a very delusional mind as if they have something to offer you gentlemen. And I've heard it here many a times mentioned, the kings are the prize to the scenario. And that's just the way it is. But yes, you meet these young ladies, ask yourself, what can you offer me that you haven't offered another man?
If she's
You
not a
brothers,
virgin, these men want to treat them like they're virgins. They're not virgins, man. If she done had
no.
one man before you, she's not a virgin. She's been violated, and she, according to the Bible, she's a whore, and she needs to repent, according to the Bible. That's just truth.
Con.
Because we wasn't supposed to take no woman that wasn't a virgin. You can't find
Hey.
nothing in the Bible that a man has to be a virgin when he gets married. If that woman, if you found an uncleanness in that woman, meaning she wasn't a virgin, you could put her away, man.
Con.
So these women need to be humble, man.
Every single one of them.
Cain. You know, the women are still leading the percentage of the ones who go file for divorce. Esau is in their heads crazy. You know, even in the
Correct.
Torah, it only says that the male in Deuteronomy is supposed to deliver the papers of divorcement to that woman and put her out his house. And for the brothers too. A lot of these brothers shouldn't be penetrating unless they own the house that's housing that woman. There's a whole nother level of subservience that comes from that woman when she's staying in that house that he owns. There's a whole nother subservience that comes out of her when she's driving the car that he owns.
Con.
There's a whole nother moisture and making love to this woman that's created when she realizes she's in your car and in your home. Whole different woman. Even some of these women that you are with now will act different if you set them up like that. Because the Bible says, if you find something that's unclean about her, put her out your house. A lot of the brothers don't have homes to put them out of. It's backwards. That's why these women have taken on these masculine mindsets, as if they're running things. Look, and the simplistic aspect of it, if you think we're being male chauvinistic pigs, you're seriously mistaken. Because the simplicity of it is this. In the beginning, we have Adam. Adam is a male personification. You have the serpent, he's a male personification. You have Eve, she's a female personification. At no point in time when that male personification that was Adam, or that serpent male personification, at no point in time did Eve say, hey guys, follow me, let me lead. She had a choice to follow either one of them, but her choice was to follow. She was never put in a position to lead. And that's the simplicity of it. That's the nature of it. That's how order is set. It's a whole different kind of women Esau has raised up today. A lot of brothers don't want to be bothered with that. And then a lot of brothers catch a lot of, flack in the end because they're not even following the Torah laws. Get your home first and then go penetrate them and bring them in. Whole different kind of woman then. Put them in your vehicles. Whole different kind of woman then. Salaki.
All right, so someone get 1 Corinthians 8:12, man.
Con, this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8,
No, you're
verse
right.
12. But when ye sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Hamashiach Christ.
So every time you sin against a brother, teach a brother to sin because his conscience is weak, you sinning against Christ. You're sinning against Christ. Now, there's a lot of silence coming from you Israelites and Christians and others when these reprobates, because these people that's taking these sons and daughters, I'm gonna talk in colloquial speech, and I'm gonna call them children. These are reprobates that's taking them. And so when you remain silent, you're allowing these reprobates to win the cultural war. Because there's a cultural war right here. Wickedness against, Eric just popping up talking about shalom, man. Wickedness against righteousness. There's a cultural war. And see, the reprobates, they damn near have a free hand to do what they want to do, man, for a few decades now. But now, America's about to reap the consequences. Some of you are feeling it right now. You're getting your sons and daughters taken away like it's nothing. Someone just call, they kick your door in. The sister said they kick her door in. So you know what the problem is? At about 3 to 5 years of age, I'm gonna call you parents, because that's what you are. Parents, they give up control. They're not sons and daughters. They're children once you give up control, right? They give up control of their children to the government school programs. And so what this is doing is increasing the development of the reprobates. These reprobate minds. The scriptures say, I will give them over to a reprobate mind. See, America's children are being programmed with the matrix lies, and they're taught to be reprobates themselves. They're taught to go in a way that they shouldn't go. Oh yeah, okay, little Johnny, don't matter if you love Robbie, it's okay because love conquers all. So they telling little Johnny it's okay to love Robbie, right in school. But they tell you, don't you dare discuss religion in school. It divides people. Where Joey said goes against the LGBTQRSTUV WXYZ community. Don't you dare discuss it here. See, the satanic indoctrination of America's children, it started with the theory of evolution. And when they started to demote the Most High's laws, the Most High's word, and these lies that's being processed from the matrix is why these reprobates like to identify themselves as progressives, right? The reprobates don't provide any truth whatsoever for their claims. But the truth don't matter to reprobates. They don't care about the truth. Case in point, right? Evolution, same-sex marriages, gender fluidity, what else? Climate crisis. None of that is based on a scientific reality or natural common sense. But the reprobates couldn't care less. The lies means that there's no end in sight to this. What is the end of it, though? The end is the destruction of the nuclear family, the destruction of faith, and the destruction of cultures. See, they intend to replace what works with a godless, globalist, utopia pipe dream. That's what they intend to do, and that's what they're doing. These reprobates are not rational beings. The sister said they kicked in her door when they came to get a baby. Kicked it in. If you read the book of Romans, the first chapter, there's some questions that the reprobates or even redempted people, right? It seems they have become too beaut of a beast to even repent. Let's get 2 Peter's chapter 2, verse 12. 2 Peter's chapter 2, verse 12. And someone get the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 10.
God, this is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed.
See that? So these reprobates are like brute beasts. They're meant to be taken and destroyed. You can't save it. Who is this talking about? It's talking about your politicians, man. It's talking about your CPS workers that's going into people's home and taking their biological property like it's nothing. Making people torment with pain. And meanwhile, they're taking off with a stranger. Do you know what it does to a young child to have their biological mother and father snatched out of their life, not knowing whether or not they're going to see him again? And they put them in some home. Sometimes they're often being sexually molested. Do you know what that does? Do you think this system is not aware of that? Go ahead, brother. Did you finish that out?
Con. They speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption.
So they're going to perish in their own corruption. From there, let's get the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 10.
The book of
So what
Jude,
it's saying
chapter
right here,
1.
it's saying that when the Most High gives them over to reprobate mind, they get their nature. It's like a beast. They take on the nature of a beast. And they believe that they are beasts. Go ahead, Yashipin.
Book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 10. But these speak evil of those things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts.
See that?
In those things they corrupt themselves.
Is that Sister Aya? Are you still in the call, sis? Because you really need to hear this. See, if Israelites, Christians, Muslims, and Americans in general, if you do not want your sons and daughters indoctrinated by reprobates, you're going to have to stand up, man, and do something about it. You don't have to stand up. I know it's difficult for mothers and fathers to take their sons and daughters out of public school. But if you can't take them out of public school, maybe you better start watching what they're learning on a regular basis. You better monitor what they're learning. I guess the sister's not even on here, man. Damn shame. You need to start teaching your sons and daughters that the government school system feeds them a lot of anti-Bible, anti-Christian, anti-Jewish, and a bunch of matrix propaganda. You're going to have to be able to give them the tools to sort it out. But you got to be very careful in doing this. Or they will come and take away your children like they did Aya's. And it doesn't even seem like she's on the call. How real is that, Ali?
Yeah, that's a little unbelievable there.
Don't you
Because,
know I came up with this title because what she said today? I wasn't even going to do this for Bible study.
Yeah, that was her word. That was her word, that she would be here for the Bible study so she can.
She was in here. She was in here earlier. She was in here early. Apparently, she's not paying attention.
A show, huh?
So perhaps this is judgment.
Con.
Uh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, the Most High move you to do that, all praises you moving in that. If she chooses to waste that, judgment.
remember the other one that came on here, Yashabin? Remember that? What, it was a year and a half ago? The one that came on here, she putting stuff in the room. I'm trying to help her save her children. She putting stuff in the room. If I have another baby, it's gonna be by Tazadaq.
Oh, yeah, that.
You remember her? Same kind of thing. Same situation. Her children was taken.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that. That was during the webinar, I think.
Yeah.
Con.
It's unbelievable, man.
She actually ended up
FRT Oregon TV. FRT Oregon TV, you can enter a little later, man. We're trying to get this message out right now, good brother or sister, whoever you are. So now let's go over, when can CPS, Child Protective Services, take your son or daughter, your children, right? Child Protective Services can take your children from home only if the agency has a court order, first of all. That means they had to go and get a court order. The court order had to authorize CPS to do so. So the caseworker has to believe that an emergency situation exists to warrant the emergency removal. That's the case with this sister. That's the case with any of you. Now, I'm not saying that they're not in compliance with, the court's not in compliance with them. So to remove your sons or your daughters or your children from the home, CPS caseworker must have a reasonable belief that you pose an immediate threat to the child. Let me tell you how his child got taken. That the child will not be safe if they remain in your home and that your child is in imminent danger. These are the reasons that they could come in and take the child. Now let's have a look at this. Let's review this. Let's go into some detail here, right? Let's look at the most common reasons that CPS may take your children from a parent's home during an investigation. She said they kicked her door, and she's not even on the call, not even responding. She came in earlier and put up some hearts. See that back there? It's a damn shame, man. I saw it come in here early. Unbelievable, man. Right here. It's her right here. Where's she at now? She
Aya?
just put hearts in here. That was at 9:14. That was 30 minutes ago.
Some empty hearts too. And I don't know, man. People.
Sister about to speak up and redeem herself. She sold a good story earlier. I mean, had me convinced she really was coming here for some help. That's unfortunate because you have a lot of people out there really going through this. But, you know, it's not going to stop the mission. My goodness. She ended up turning into a reprobate just that quick.
So physical violence. It is unfortunate that physical violence is one of the most common reasons that CPS removes children from their parents. And this is what actually took place with this young lady. See, when a CPS caseworker has evidence that a child has actually been a victim of physical violence at a parent's home, they may believe that the child is actually in imminent danger to take the child away from their parents. It's one of the reasons. Next reason could be sexual abuse. When a child becomes a victim of sexual abuse in the parent's home, CPS will take the child from the home in most cases. And the perpetrators also remove from the home to prosecute the sex crime against the minor. Sexual assault, right? One of the another reasons, number 3, could be use of illegal drugs. I'm gonna tell you the reasons that these children are being taken. If a parent or any other person is using illegal drugs in the child's home, a CPS caseworker may remove the child from the home. Facts. Big facts. Number 4, abandonment and child neglect. It is not uncommon for Child Protective Service to remove children from the home when there's evidence that parents abandon them or are guilty of other forms of child neglect. He said, Tazadaq, what is child neglect? What is abandonment? Not providing the child with clothing, not providing the child with enough food, having no food in the house. How many of you ever heard that had the guardian litem come in over? If you might be going through a divorce or there's a custody situation, the guardian litem comes over. They looking all through your cupboards and all of that, making sure you got food. Because if he determines there's not enough food there, guess what? That baby, those children are gone, man. Another one, not taking a child to a hospital to get necessary medical care. This is what they're trying to say about her, and she's not even on the call. Having a child locked up inside an enclosed place, making a child stay locked up in a room, denying the child's access to the house, making them sleep outside. See, these are some of the allegations that came against her. Now she's not even on the call. Abandoning a child for a lengthy period of time. It's another reason they could take him. Parental consent. Was I not just telling her, David, hey, you can't do it that way. You're giving consent. She didn't want to listen.
She had it all planned out. So I guess it doesn't matter what you said.
See, in some cases, a parent may consent to the removal of their child from the home. See, when a parent consents to have their child removed from the home, the child may be taken to a foster home or another relative's home. But when parents consent to removal, but the other parent refuses to allow CPS to take the child, the agency will not remove the kids without a court order unless the circumstances warrant some form of an emergency removal. You said, Tazadaq, well, why would a parent consent to the removal of a child? Well, case in point, a parent may allow CPS to take the child away from the home to provide with some sort of mental health services. Some parents do that. It's another reason they could take him away, environmental danger. See, there she go right there. Look, she came back. She's talking about reprobate, and we still on something else. Sister, where did you go? Do you not comprehend that primarily this message was for you tonight? And you're in and out?
Yeah, she's acting like she's defensive in the comments and she's late.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. He wasn't even responding. It was selective listening. Because if you was responding, you would have responded when I first called on you some 10 minutes ago. So another reason that we moved the child is environmental danger. See, when CPS does a home inspection, and let me say this is not legal advice. It's not medical advice. If you need legal or medical advice, seek yourself a competent counselor or physician and please be advised. This is for educational and informational purposes only, right? So when they do a home inspection, an investigator will look for things like illegal drugs, firearms being left out in the open. Is that not what they done to you, Ali? They went in and they found your firearm or something, didn't they?
Kane, they asked I was already incarcerated at the time, but they had knocked on the door and asked if they could pick up some clothes or something like that. My rib went upstairs, invited them in. My rib went upstairs, and she came back downstairs to find that the DCF worker was looking through the cabinets and had found one of my firearms up there. So that had came into play because it was, and of course it was on, the ADT surveillance camera because I had to keep one in my house outside the door and on the back porch because of the type of things that was taking place in my house, so that had actually got recorded on the camera. The fact that the DCF worker was shifting through my cabinets while my queen had walked upstairs to get the child some clothes and things like that since they were in, their custody. But that was just a trick to get her because she did say the DCF asked, is anybody else in the home at the moment? And people are not trained to sit up here and be aware of the, sleight of hand that DCF may or may not pull, but they're a really deceptive organization. They are really deceptive.
What's she putting in the room?
Yeah, she's off. She's way off.
Sister,
So
come in
speaking
the room
facts
and
on the
redeem
subject matter of
yourself.
her,
Sister needs to come in here and redeem herself because she seemed as if she wanted to make a change in her life, at least to recoup her seeds.
there's nothing to
I know
redeem
that.
from.
Yeah. Let's keep putting this out for someone that really needs the message, man. Let's let the spirit keep moving because there's some people out there that really need this message, man. Let's shake the dust on that system.
Yeah. If you all have DCF that's coming to your home, watch them, and you don't even have to let those folks in your home. I wish I could have told my queen, to tell them to wait outside. I never even knew that DCF would try to be so slick. But definitely don't if you can have some. If you have to invite them in the home because it's raining outside, do so. Have someone to watch DCF until you can keep your eyes on those people. How did she get into my cabinet? to get the firearm brought up into the whole scenario, I know not of. But I tell you, I got the woman on the ADT surveillance camera that was set up in the kitchen going through my cabinets, and who, just praise the Most High. That's all that was in those cabinets was that firearm. So, definitely if DCF is going to knock on your door and you're going to allow him in your house, please watch him.
Yeah, so inadequate care. So another reason a CPS worker could actually take the children is that if the parents is providing inadequate child care. Now, what are some of the situations that I'm talking about here? The parent has actually been hospitalized for a long period of time, or they might be incarcerated. CPS will come in and take the child. The parent may have been diagnosed with a mental illness. This is what they're trying to play on her. And she damn sure need to be listening to this message, right? Because if they could diagnose that the parent has an untreated mental illness, they will come in and they would take the child. That means some sort of illness associated with a dangerous behavior. Or if the parent has a history of violence, of a violent behavior, they would take the child. Another reason they would take the child is medical abuse. The CPS will remove your child from a parent's home when the parent is guilty of medical abuse. And so medical abuse is considered to occur when a child receives medically unnecessary or even harmful treatments and procedures at a parent's request when the kid didn't need it. Right? Now, what should you do? Okay, so Tazadaq, you list the reasons that they could take our sons and daughters away, your children, right? What should one do for educational purposes, or what could one do if Child Protective Services took my son or my daughter away, or both? Once CPS removes the children, the agency must notify you about the removal within 24 hours. They have 24 hours if you wasn't there to notify you about the removal. Now, if a CPS caseworker took your children or your child away on the weekend, you will more than likely be notified on Monday if you wasn't home. Sometimes they take them while they're at school. Now, a parent is notified about the removal by a CPS caseworker through what is known as a notice of removal. Did they give you that, Ali, or they gave it to your wife? It's known as a notice of removal. Sometimes they'll leave it on the door if you're not there, if you were not home at the time that they done the inspection.
Yeah, when they came to my home originally, they sat up here and took my daughter at that time. At that time, they had took my daughter. I had went into cardiac arrest, brother, because I was so distraught with the whole scenario. Those guys told me, the police had told me, well, the constable had explained to me that if I hadn't decided to open up my door, that they were going to bust down the door and I wasn't going to like the outcome. And during that time, Costello or some, it was a lot of black on black brothers getting shot by cops at that particular time. So I didn't want those guys storming in there, probably shooting at me and shooting me in my seat at that time. So I backed up and let them arrest me, and that's when they took her out of the home.
Wow. So
I left in the ambulance.
when this notice of removal happens, it usually includes information like the name, the contact information of the caseworker who actually took your child or your children, and the reason behind the removal of your child or children. And it'll contain information about the court hearing. It should also contain information about your rights and your obligations, which actually includes your rights to be represented by an attorney, your right, and about information of your rights to visit your children after the removal from your home, if they allow it to be done. Now, I'm going to tell you, if CPS has actually already taken your children for educational purposes, the first thing I would do is to reach out to the caseworkers whose name and contact information is on a written notice of removal as soon as possible. But you know what's weird about this, Ali? These people that get their children taken away, they're always going after their organization. So I tell them, why don't you just go after the individual that did it to you? Why don't you fight back? Oh, I don't know their name. The name is usually on the paperwork.
See, I never knew nothing like that. I wish I had ran into yourself and T-Doc then, but no, that's brand new. I didn't know that was an option. That's going to be a definitely family saver for a lot of folks. So you say don't go after the child protective services, but to go after the caseworker themselves that orchestrated.
That's what I would do, right? Because I would go after the individual, right? Because they're not bonded. If you go after the caseworker under that title, they're bonded. Any officer, it has a bind on them to protect them against the lawsuit, right? But if you go after the individual, not the position, they're no longer binded. The sister saying, look at the sister saying, record everything. Record every encounter from the start to the finish. Document everything.
The phone calls too, yes. Yes, the phone calls.
It's no secret that Satan is now aiming his arrow at families. See, in the Garden of Eden, he disrupted the marriage of Adam and Eve. And in the very next chapter in the Bible, his influence was so great that a brother killed his own brother. That's Satan at work, man. And from that time, our homes have been in his sight. CPS been in his home is because Satan is directing that thing, man. He aims in general to destroy what the Most High has created. It's just his nature, man. And the Most High granted him permission to do so. He said, if you take that wedge from around Job, he won't serve you. He won't be loyal. See, if the Most High had granted him to kill Job, he would have killed Job because he's the devil. The Most High said, just don't put a hand on him. Satan wants to destroy the witness of our marriage, man. What did Paul say in the book of Ephesians, David? Paul said in the book of Ephesians that our marriage is a picture of the gospel. If the enemy destroys our marriage, I can no longer model the gospel by loving my wife, right? Like Christ loved the church. Satan hates our children, man. He hates them. He delights when our adult decisions affect our children by turning them against the Most High's word. See, sometimes many of us become the enemy's tools. You understand what I'm saying? You're trying to help someone. They acting like the high shaitan is in them or one of his agents. You become the enemy's tool. when you follow his ways more than you do the ways of the Most High. He wants to harm our witness. He strives to remove people from the ministry. It's working. He get a lot of you. Satan wants to redirect the church. He always wants to hinder prayers. Someone get 1 Peter 3, verse 7. He always want to get in the way of your prayers. He delights in scars when he attacks later in life.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
See that? From there, let's get 2 Corinthians 10, verse 3 through 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 5.
Book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty
Verse 5.
through
3 through 5. 3 through
2
5.
Corinthians
Brother.
10,
3,
3 through 5. Can you hear me?
10.
Yes. Daryl is interrupting, man.
Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. Verse 5. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Supreme Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought unto the obedience of Christ, Mashiach.
So the word is saying we must take every thought captive. David, I need you to reflect on that, David.
God.
Take every thought captive. Everything that we say, we got to take that captive before we say it.
God.
Look at that very phrase, David. Take every thought captive to obey Christ. Take every thought captive to obey Christ.
God.
The Greek word means to control, to conquer, to bring into submission. We take captive. We make it submit. Every thought obedient to Christ. Make it obedient to Hamashiach, to bring into submission, to bring under control. But how do you do that, David? How do we take every thought captive? How do we teach other people to do that? How do I make my mind mine? The world is mind, M-I-N-D. So how do I make my mind mine? That's the question. Some of you might have noticed that your mind doesn't always mind. Your mind, M-I-N-D, doesn't always mind, M-I-N-D. It's often disobedient. It's often very rebellious. It wants to go in a different direction. When I want to think a certain way, you say, it wants to go another way. When I need to ponder, it wants to wander. When I need to pray, my thoughts want to float away.
Mm-hmm.
See, the battle for sin always starts in the mind. Before you commit adultery, before you steal, before you kill, the battle for sin Always thoughts in the mind. Paul talks about that in Romans, the 7th chapter. Paul said, I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want, I keep doing. Did he say it, David?
That I ought do, I ought not do. Gone.
I can't make it up. Someone get that, man. Romans 7:19. Paul said it. Paul said it. The good that he wanted to do, he doesn't do. Wretched man, I am. Romans 7:19 through 24.
On the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 19 through 24. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that, I would not, it is no more I that
These women are
do
not
it.
doing that. Tell me these women are not doing that. The good that they should do, they're giving commandment after commandment to obey their husband, but they do it now. There's a hell waiting for you, man. There's a hell waiting for you. Go ahead, brother. Read.
It is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
See that? That's the devil that dwells in you, man.
I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of a supreme Elohim after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you 4 ways to keep your thoughts captive. The first way is don't believe everything you think. See, we naturally feel that if we think something, David, it must be true because it comes from within us. But just because you think something does not make it true. I've seen the face of mental illness, so many different suggestions, and these people come to mind. See, the world, the world puts suggestions in our minds that are false. And we are bombarded with those false ideas all the time. And of course, Shaitan makes suggestions all the time. See, but your problem is much more deeper than Satan. Everybody has a Satan of self, which is a mental illness. You're mentally ill. See, this mental illness in the Bible is called sin. It's called sin. And the Bible uses at least a dozen different phrases for the conditions of our minds under sin. Our minds are confused, it says in Deborium. Someone get Deborium 28, verse 20. See, that's a mental illness. Your mind's confused. That's sin. Deborium 28, verse 20. Someone get Job 17, 3 through 4.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, Deborium, chapter 28, verse 20. Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed.
See that? Job 17, verse 3 through 4. Anxious. You're closed off. You're anxious. Person overly anxious, they say, oh, he got a mental illness. He's always anxious. He can't sit still. ADHD.
This is the book of Job, chapter 17, verse 3. Lay down now, put me in a surety with thee. Who is he that will strike hands with me? For thou hast hid their heart from understanding. Therefore shalt thou not exalt them.
The minds are hidden from understanding. Some people are not going to get this, man. Ecclesiastes 2:21. You're evil. You're restless. 2:21 through 23.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 21 through 23. For there is a man whose labor is in wisdom and in knowledge and in equity. Yet to a man that have not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. This also is vanity and a great evil. For what hath a man of all his labor and a vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief. Yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This is also vanity.
Come. Second Kings 6:11 says you have a troubled mind. A mental illness. You have a troubled mind because your mind is filled with sin. 2 Kings 6 verse 11.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 6, verse 11. Therefore the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing. And he called his servants and said unto them, Will ye not show me which of us is for the king of Israel?
So your mind is troubled just like that. Jeremiah 17 verse 9 says our minds are broken by sin. Your minds are broken by sin, which means you can't even trust your own thinking. That's why the scriptures say don't follow your own understanding. It said trust in the Most High with all thy heart and soul and don't lean towards your own understanding. What are you doing? You're leaning towards your own understanding. You say, oh, me. I think it, so it must be right. Jeremiah 17:9 said, the heart's deceitful above all things. Your heart is your mind. Someone get that. Jeremiah 17:9. Your heart is deceitful above all things, meaning your mind. You can't trust your own mind. You think you're doing something right. You didn't go and pray. Oh, yeah, I got this. You talking about you into that spirituality demonness, man. They ain't got nothing to do with the Most High.
Come on.
You breaking out crystals and all of this, talking about spiritual. You ain't nothing but a damn witch or a damn warlock. Talking about some kind of spirituality. What spirit are you invoking? Damn demon.
Come on. And the universe, talking about some damn universe.
Right.
Some most annoying BS.
And they always have some copper or something on, man. Yeah, that guy Torres Bay, he was into that damn foolishness. That's why his spirit couldn't stay around here, man. He probably listening now, always talking about some, yeah, you need to get some you need to get some crystals to protect you from that 5G, man. I said, man, get the hell away from me. I got 4 phones, they all 5G. I'm still standing.
Come on.
20G.
There's a 5G phone right here. Look, it's to my ear. I'm still standing, man. Remember all that crap they was talking? And I told him, man, I don't believe in that stuff. Well, you know, you're the 5G tower.
Yeah, the 5G towers was emitting all kinds of radiation.
Yeah, they said it was causing, the scamdemic.
Yeah.
People are crazy, man. Then they'll go to every extreme to try and prove it because Edomite came up and said, well, you see here, but you're still trusting in oppression, man.
Come on. You got to keep your mind in check. You can't let your mind wander on to things that's really just based off of what you think. Like you just said, it makes perfect sense. when you think about it. If you think, oh, the 5G towers and this and this and that, when in reality, that's just a damn lie.
Right. I mean, when else you gonna run from, man? You living your life paranoid. I mean,
Right.
come on. They got a peek around the corner to come outside, Benaiah. Oh, 5G tower. Oh, there's 5G tower over there. You had idiots going knocking 5G towers down. You damn idiot. You just knocked down my internet.
Yeah. And
That's
folks didn't
crazy.
realize them jokers was up for years before they actually went live with it. It
Oh.
didn't just come pop up overnight.
That jackass that knocked up my internet. I can't go online. My phone and everything's down. Lock his ass up, man. Put him in a straitjacket.
Crazy
Yeah, people that was literally coming. You guys don't remember that? They coming on my channel every day arguing with me. Saying, nah, man, I don't believe the 5G is causing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. They was going heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna unsubscribe to your channel because you don't believe in the 5G.
Wow. People live life like that, though. It's just paranoid about
bubble.
everything.
In a bubble, man.
I know people personally live life like that. They just, it's real sad, real unfortunate. A scared man is a dead man.
The scriptures tells us that we cannot be trusted to tell ourselves the truth. That's why you need to question your own thoughts and teach others not to believe everything that they think. Trust in the Most High with all of thy heart and lean not towards thy own understanding. See, just because you got a thought, it doesn't mean that that thought's correct. That's the reason why so many fallen Israelites, so many fallen Christian leaders, because of sin, begins to live with a lie. See, the Bible says Satan is the father of lies. Someone get John 8:44. He's the father of the lie. And if he could get to you and get you to believe a lie, then he got you, man. Then he could get you to sin. If he could get you to believe the lie, he could get you to sin.
Con, this is a book of this is a
You
book
see,
of
I'm gonna
John.
hit you with something, man. I'm gonna hit you with something. Every time each and every one of you sin, what you're really saying is you think that you know better than the Most High knows. That's why you're sinning in the first place. Go ahead and read, brother.
This is a book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
So you got to question what you think, brothers and sisters. You got to question what you think. You got to, and you also need to guard your mind from garbage. It's the second thing I'm gonna tell you, man. Someone get Proverbs 15 and 14. The second thing in this battle for the mind is to guard your mind from garbage. Right? All this garbage in media, social media, and so on and so forth. If you put that bad data in a computer, you will get bad results. If you put mental garbage in your mind, you will get garbage out in your life. Look at Proverbs 15 and 14.
On the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 14. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feed on foolishness.
And what are the ways to guard your mind against garbage? Philippians 4 and 6 through 8. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 to 8. That gives us two ways to guard our mind against garbage. So you can't say you didn't get the resolution. Tazadaq, you bring up these problems with a resolution is right here in this book that you call the Bible. Shout out to Tori Williams, man. Tori Willis. Shalom.
Book
Con,
of
this is book.
Philippians. Oh,
Go ahead, Con.
Book of
That's not
Philippians,
familiar.
chapter 4, verses 6 through 8. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto the Supreme Elohim. And the peace of Supreme Elohim, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Mashiach Yahushua, Christ Jesus.
Con. And you not another way I'm gonna tell you is you never let up on learning this word.
That's right.
You never let up on studying these laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's get Proverbs 18 and 15 when it talks about the mind of a smart person is eager to get knowledge.
Con, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge.
Say 14.
Proverbs 18, verse 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear.
Who could be a wounded spirit, man? Once your spirit is wounded, man. You gotta be in the right spirit. You gotta make sure you're walking in the spirit, man. Spirit of the Ruach. Shalom, Bernard Burnett. Anyone else got anything, man, they want to say, man, in regards to the situation, man, about the CPS, DFS, taking people's biological property and people just, bowing out. They acting like debtors. They go straight into arguing, which is dishonor. I know some people now, they had their sons and daughters going 6-7 years.
I just like to say to the sisters out there that they don't be intimidated by these people just showing up at your door and flashing whatever credentials they have, and like Kahan said, they don't have a right to come into your home, but don't stand there and think you got to be courteous. Like Ali said, make them stand out there on the patio or the porch or whatever, and then, tell them, look, my husband ain't home. You can call him and then he can schedule you guys to come at some other later date or whatever. I mean, you can be courteous or however you get down, but you don't have to let these people intimidate you, because that's all they're doing. They do their best to talk to the little ones to try to get them to say anything that will give them the authority to remove them. I've seen that happen. And they press the little ones hard. And the situation that occurred with me when I pulled my daughter out of public school, this was 3 years ago, and she had gotten bullied. They asked her, has daddy ever spanked you? And the next thing I know, I'm getting a call, from a CPS officer. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What happened to this little boy that bullied my daughter? And, they had her talking to everybody but her mom, and I'm out on the road. And I put a stop to that real quick. I told him, I said, well, you can forget about her, because you guys aren't going to be taking my daughter and subjecting her to a bunch of strangers, and you guys you think you have some say so. You don't have no say so at all over my flesh and blood. And that was pretty much the end of it with them.
Looks like Gully has a question, but I don't understand the nature of his question or what he's really trying to ask. Maybe one of you guys do. I saw it in the text. We're trying to get him to come in the room, but he said he don't speak English very well. It looks like he has a question there. Anyone else?
No, I wanted
Looks. Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to share some synonyms of reprobate. It's ironic that I come to find that the word U.S. is in here. U.S. under reprobate. Kidnap is under reprobate. Demon is under reprobate. Fiend is under reprobate. Monster. Traitor. Conspirator. Snake. Backstabber. Squiller. Scoundrel. Hound. Reptile. Degenerate. Fallen angel. Sinner. Transgressor. Trespasser. Evildoer. Lawbreaker. Malefactor. Juvenile delinquent. I was just very shocked to see U.S. It's in the synonym finder of J.I. Rodale, copyright 1978. U.S. is under reprobate. Salaki.
Wow.
Makes sense to me.
Works for me.
Yeah, it looks like Guile or Gully Tapias is trying to break down the word believe and asking why is the word lie in the middle of it.
Oh. That's some Tourist Bay nonsense right there. You know what I mean?
Semantics.
You're taking an English word. Come on, man. We've been over that before. It sounds very similar to something he said. What did he say? Be less. Blessed.
Yeah, talking about blessed.
And then I told him, listen, man, the word is barak when you deal with etymology. So, that, I mean, it don't even make sense. You say bless is be less.
Tell him, Rock. Tell him. Stop leaning to the own understanding.
Strange creature. I tell you, Ali, he's a strange one, man. That Negro.
I see. My God. Well, they come to the right place to get the truth. So stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah, and so the link is in here. I'm not sure if whoever that FRT Oregon TV is, it didn't seem like you were really staying in the spirit during the message. The link is in the room to ask questions in regards to such. Just scroll up, and the link is there, the StreamYard link.
Yeah, FTR Oregon, you could come in now. Tim asked could he come in also, man. I mean, you guys could come in now, man. Just didn't want the message interrupted.
Hey, what's up, all?
Slow.
So I do have a couple of questions. I mean, I get that. I mean, if I'm able to speak, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I got to have etiquette and all. So what happens when somebody actually deserves to get their kids taken away? If they're actually beating on their children and is there a way outside, like as a community, that we can step up? Because obviously we're supposed to guard those children. Even, like if I see a kid screwing up on the street, I'm supposed to say, hey, say something.
Yeah. In this society, they want to punish you for that now. A
Yeah,
few
you
years
can't do
back,
that anymore.
that was
You can't.
okay. But in this society, they want to punish you for that now. But
It better be a family member.
yeah, you are right to that extreme. But
Oh, you got yours in?
I want to be careful with that, man. I want to be careful with that. Yeah.
I hear you. I'm just wondering, I mean, like, obviously I got to be careful with that and everything like that. However, there's a place of responsibility that I have to have for the simple fact that, you know, as a follower of the Most High, I'm required to do certain things.
Clean.
Thing
Hey, did
is
you just get
clean.
Khan, did yours just arrive?
Yeah, it took a month.
Oh, I thought you had ordered it the other night.
Yeah. I ordered this at the Feast of Booths.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I guess mine will be here.
It was a back print.
Yeah, they just sent me a tracking number in the email.
Yeah,
You
they
guys,
did the same thing.
you guys are still, you know, when you're ordering yours, obviously they haven't stopped. Mine costs at $175 because I got this name and places also.
Yeah, I ordered that set you suggested we get.
And I ordered this cover. It came in a cover. Yeah. But yeah, Tim, you're right. It was like that as a community, but in this society, it'd be like, yo, so and so hit my my child. I want them arrested for assault or something like that. But you're right. There are certain situations, man, where CPS is necessary because some people are really abusive.
I have a friend of mine
That's
that
necessary.
actually has 2 kids from CPS. She's their mom now. I mean, she adopted them fully. She loves those kids like nobody's business. One of them stays in my house all the time because we take care of them in the sense of when she's working or whatnot, we are his care provider. And, you know, I mean, that kid got really screwed up in that situation because he was mentally abused, physically abused, et cetera, you know, without getting too deep into the story. And, you know, both of them were really needing to be taken out of that situation. And, you know, for me, as a caretaker for that kid or for that child, you know, it's very difficult because I kind of want to go back to the mom and, you know, have a couple of nice words, and back to the dad and have those same kinds of words, only a little bit more stern, if that makes sense. You know, so where does that put me as far as, you know, what my I've been searching this out in the scripture. It's funny that this actually came up in conversation. But I've really been searching because if you see something out of order, you know, I don't know, like, obviously I'm not going to go smack a kid's hand or whatever, you know, because that will get you put in jail. However, there's, you know, if I say something, well, would that fall under freedom of speech in regards to a child's behavior type thing? I mean, there's got to be some form of remedy that we as men and men of faith specifically can step up and step out without getting charges thrown at us, I guess would be the best way.
Yeah, you know, they had something where, you know, if you approach someone's child, you know, if the child get terrified or something, you know, you got some of these parents, especially the woman, man. If you approach their child, they might start screaming or something. You know, like you're attacking them. Oh, get away from my child! This guy's trying to attack my child. And if she got one of those children that just start crying, just because you say, you know, when you scold some children, they'll start crying because they're not accustomed to it.
Right.
Because they won't listen to their parents, but they will listen to a stranger because it intimidates them. And they're not used to that kind of discipline. So they go, then the mom come over there frantic. this guy just attacked my child. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Whether you touch them or not. Okay, sir, come with us.
I guess that's where that prayer and I'm sorry.
Yeah, they'll say you could come willingly, or we're going to take you in by force.
I guess that's where that prayer and supplication comes for discernment and wisdom in those kinds of situations.
Right. Yep. I don't know,
Well,
man. I've seen a lot of situations. I really wanted to say something, but unless they would get extremely violent, I just like, damn, that kid shouldn't have to go through that.
Right.
But if you get in, that might turn into something bad. And if it's a woman, the other women are going to take her side because
Right.
that's what women do.
Well, I guess I'll keep on praying, and hopefully the Most High will keep me safe. I guess I need to stay grounded in truth and wisdom, etc., in faith.
Oregon TV, what do you have, man? Getting sleepy here, man. Or Oregon TV, what do you have?
Y'all can hear me?
Nah, but go ahead anyways.
All right, so I purchased your books. And this is in regards to what you're talking, this subject matter. And the specific book that I purchased is called Inviolable Man. And it has a remedy in the back of the book. And basically, it talks about
Was it the plug or the Inviolable Man?
Inviolable Man.
So you purchased this a few years ago.
I purchased this approximately a year ago.
Yeah, Inviolable Man, I made that in a plug to about a year ago. That's like an extended, that's a much longer book now. I don't even have any more of those in the print. The Inviolable Man.
Yeah,
So that had to be at least a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right.
It's called The Plug now.
Okay.
The book's like 500 and some pages now.
Okay. Well, yes, I was reading it, and it has a remedy within the back of the book. And as I'm studying this stuff and learning black magic and spells and learning how to correctly spell, I'm learning that the remedy that you provide is basically keeping you out of their legal jargon, which ultimately puts you within their clutches and allows them to be able to control the whatever the subject material or subject matter is within the trust. Right. So my question would be, without being too specific, would be would we, in order to correctly get remedy from the remedy that you provide, not only filing documents on the record in which they are in tacit agreement with me, and in which I have yet to actually finalize the claim, but will I also have to, being though that they are in tacit agreement, will I also have to go into public court and finalize the simple fact that they are in tacit agreement?
Not necessarily. You could try and do that administratively.
Okay, I figured that, and that's what I figured. In which I gave them a specific address in which to deliver the property to. So all that information is in there. So okay.
Yeah, if I done it administratively though, I would go through a third party like a notary or something to keep it on the private side. I would have a notary mail out all of my correspondence, and then I would do a proof of service to everything that the notary put in the envelope and keep those for my record.
Now, my question on that proof of service, because I've utilized this method before, but my method was it's the same thing, but basically what I would do is I would go to the notary, get it notarized, and then take the documents and actually send them out myself via certified mail. Is that the same thing or no?
You said you would take the documents and do what now?
I would get the documents notarized. I would then take the documents to myself and send them out via certified.
No. That's not the same thing. That's not
Okay.
private anymore.
Oh.
See, when the notary, so the proof of service form, the notary fills out everything that they put in the envelope, because the reason being is because some people's actually mailed off documents, and the clerk is saying, "Oh yeah, we got an envelope for you, but that wasn't in there."
Oh.
So you're using a notary because a notary could be called on as a witness by putting that in the envelope, and they're saying, "This is what I put in the envelope, and I mailed it off," right? So if the notary mailed it off, now you have a witness, and you didn't physically mail it off. So now you have a witness stating, "Well, this is what was there, and it was mailed on this such and such date," and you have an oath attached to that. You have the notary's oath attached to that. So you already had a witness that could actually be subpoenaed to come into court in the event that it needs to go into the public.
Public court, right?
Right. So as long, see, when you mail it in yourself, you're no longer in the private. You're in the public.
Okay, that's
When the
what.
notary mails it in, you're keeping it on the private side.
Damn, that's
Because when the notary mails it in, it's going into the clerk, then it's going to go in the judge's chambers.
damn. So my process was not correct. So all right, because I would use a proof of service as well. But as you stated, if I mail it myself, then it's no longer private. So I would have my proof of service. I thought I
You
was
just
going
keep that for your records. The only thing the proof of service is for you to keep. You don't mail that off, right? That's just for your records. So if they say, "Well, we didn't receive this," then you bring forth the proof of service form and say, "Here it is. It was right here in the envelope when it was mailed. Here's a certified mail tracking number that the notary sent out."
And you said the notary sends it via certified mail. You just get the mail. The notary
Right.
sends it for certified mail.
Yeah, you just get the notary, drop it in a mailbox or something, or have someone pick it up from their office.
Oh.
Yeah. See, it's done by a third party. Then if need be, that notary will actually be a witness in that particular case.
Oh, okay. So now I got it all complete. Then I got everything I need. Then so appreciate that.
Yeah, let's keep it private. All right. So yeah, I'm about to shut this down, man. I'm a little sleepy. Appreciate everyone for listening, man. You know, I don't see the sister here anymore. Maybe she's in the background being quiet or what have you, man. But hopefully her and everyone else is going through this situation, man. You know, you got something from this that's actually gonna help you resolve that situation against these reprobates that's taking your sons and daughters away. So I'm gonna say shalom and leave that in the air. Everybody be safe. Shalom.